start things off. Virtus.pro will typically just close that text chat and not like in their previous matchup, but they will move to the Kaid. I think that is a more...
This is always a good thing. You highlighted those numbers just moments ago. Now it's Skies lined up with a Nitro Cell. He manages to get Shaiko. He took the body, he took the man, not the utility. Skies could have another as well.
To clear this roam position. He is a bit caught. He doesn't have a good rotate back to site, and he's likely dead here to Benja, but no! What? Loses the fight. Skies so good with the SMG-11.
0 damage done to him up till that point. Stompin will find a little bit. Skies on a rampage. Alimau shot down, and it's Stompin in a 1v5. This is not the start that G2 wanted whatsoever. These are both very good attacking teams on this map. The defender win rate for VP, not very good. You wouldn't know it after that one.
Z here on this map, so a bit of a change up now. Alimau on the snake getting in very early top floor. Finds a couple of bodies, but no heads, Parker.
And they've got another now over on the stairs. Dan leading things off again, and it's a mirror matchup. Dan versus Doki. It'll happen twice. Pasha guns down Alimau. The Nook Gambit that we were excited to see will...
Some space from it. Virtus.pro deciding they're happy to give up this control despite the fact that Benja up here on the ram, and maybe a mistake. Great shot from Benja to come through and get the first frag of the game for G.
At the moment, as we hit the halfway point in the round, Shaiko is very close to being able to pull something off, but he loses the duel to Pasha. What is going on with G2? Stompin trades it back. Tied with Alimau for the best rated player on the team. He and Benja will need to do some serious work. The Dane will get another. It's a dead drop, shot down by Skies. Neither of the two remaining players on VP have died. Stompin's got a minute to work through this, Jesse, but it's not looking good.
Lots of time for the youngster, still 19 years old, looking to get this clutch here. It would be a critical round to win versus VP. He's a late round player. This is his role. This is why they have him existing so long in these rounds. The drone is good, but the shots need to be too.
I mean, that DMR does hit like a truck. Playing keep away. Anti-work for Stompin as he destroys the cubicles. Freeing himself from the chains of the corporate world. I'm sorry, I didn't think he was going to win anything. Skies gets the final kill. G2 unable to muster anything on those first two rounds. G2 will have to confront a part of the map named after one of their former players.
Oh, long shot from Doki. He finds the body of Skies for his first frag of the game.
Target.
That is a really important kill.
They've got another DMR in hands of Stompin, looking for a mistake for Rorik to commit. So many players on the side of VP whose names we haven't said because they haven't really done anything. Jesse Rorik is definitely one of them. Pasha will eliminate Shaiko and go for a drop. He might be able to get a nice flank off. Paused for a moment as the Lion scan will go. He missed him. He sees one. He sees one. Cuts him off a wire. Oh my goodness. Target dummies falling abound. Bodies hitting the floor. Benja Master now in a 1v4 outside on Repel. This round has not gone any better for G2, and it's Rorik to seal the deal. A perfect start and a perfect rotation.
Cancel wall is no longer an option to get angles open. It just be
there, so Dan will be able to give some information to his teammates. Deimos target going out, Snake walking in, Benja missing all of his shots. Skies cuts him down. Now the Deimos of Doki, empty-handed over in Garage, looking to push over towards Vault, but the cross is there as well. He gets Skies. They was hoping for a response from VP. They almost get Doki. 20 seconds left, Jesse. 8 players still on the board. Make that 7. Nako tears through Doki. Alimau getting Diffuser down. Dan will give that information, not before he kills Stompin in the process, and there goes the rest of G2.
You definitely got to question G2's decision to start on the attack here. I just made sure that was correct. Indeed it was. Here comes the push top square. Stompin finds the opening frag here on the Blackbeard. The blitz in as well. Alimau catching the retreat. No, not quite. It's Pasha instead who deals the damage, and it's a 4-3 lead for G2.
Very early push for G2, and it is working out in spades. For the first time, they have a numbers advantage. Pasha will say no. He's at 7 kills. Sky's at 7 kills. G2 combining. Waiting for the drop. If they can catch him, this would be a huge pick for G2. They'll use one of their death marks to isolate Pasha. Maybe a flash as a drop can come in from small office. The Blackbeard will land. It's all up to Skies to clutch out. He gets one. No defuse kit for G2 as they hold a lead and they hold the numbers advantage. Nitro Cell goes out. He lets it rip. He's downed him. Now it's all up to him and Shaiko. Shaiko finally getting on the board. Skies looking to break double digits, but he's got Shaiko on his heels. Finally, G2 win the round. That's a big motivator, and Shaiko and Alimau is Stompin and Rorik come to blows. A double stack up now as Shaiko is in pursuit. Rorik playing off this angle. We've seen this time and time again. Out will go a Razor Bloom. Nice shot from Stompin. He'll find a second through the wall. Down goes Pasha. G2 once again so formidable on this entry.
Opportunities on Disguise playing inside of Long Desk. A two-man advantage should be good enough to execute, but they need to be sharp here for the last 75.
Shaiko debilitated by that Razor Bloom. Dan, a kill on to Doki. He was hanging on that cross outside by square stairs. Final minute of this first half, and it's G2 with the numbers advantage.
Stomp is really looking for something here, but it's Benjon Spiral that opens things up at the last 45. Nako goes down. It's an answer from Skies. There goes Stompin'. Alamau with the defuse kit inside sight. Can he plant here?
Skies breaking double digits, sees Shaiko over by stock trading and does not want to commit to this engagement. He gets torn asunder, and now it's Dan to clutch out. He wasn't successful previously. Dan, a great defensive player, but 3 monsters on G2. Plenty of time, and the attackers have the bomb site. Alimau might be quiet on the offense, but he's getting that defuse kit down, and it will now cause much greater heartache for this VP team. Dan isolated, and you can see G2 is lined up looking for him, licking their chops at this final kill. It'll be Alimau to do that. He'll go not killless.
Not showing this map. They've caught them off guard so far in this game. It's a
If only it were that simple, eh?
Right.
Okay, we're going to flash the guy in the elevator, and then we're going to kill him. Attack this site. And guess what?
It got messy.
It got messy. Jesse doing his degree in messology over at the University of Alberta. Everybody's still alive. 30 seconds now. There we go. Benjamaster giving the first opportunity for Dan. He might have another on to Shaiko, and he will do just that. Easy enough for Dan, right? Pasha, the only casualty, now a sneak in through Garage. Skies looking to get in under the line of sight of G2. Alimau on the board, traded out immediately. VP back to the advantage. Rorik almost taken down as it's a 2v1. Messy is an understatement here. They gas out the last 2 members. Rorik will head for the hills. A massive round from Stompin' to save it for G2. And the gap between these teams is now just...
Got some work done on the wall already, though, so they've got some tools to work with. These Kibas still providing a challenge. Pasha, rare miss from him. And now we're seeing the pressure onto Shaiko. This blitz staring him down. It's a good enough distraction for a pick.
Shaiko picked off at a good crossfire. Watching Nako, who's now under fire himself, gassed out by Alimau. Alimau also starting to warm up the Jets. Skies and Pasha, the last 2 standing for VP. 50 seconds to go, and they're going to be walking into a hail of bullets. There's crossfires established by G2 all over the place. A nice drag from Pasha. Doki will get them both, and G2 ties the game.
What a comeback. 4 straight now from G2.
Both of these attacking rounds is a major issue. You very rightly pointed out that he's usually quite active in the kill department. Rorik, not so, but he picks off Shaiko. There goes Nako, Jesse. He's not finding a lot of value on that shield. Alimau will pay for his crimes at the hands of Skies outside on Repel. And as we hit the halfway point around 9, VP has the numbers advantage and are looking to break this streak that G2 is on.
Benja has not been droned. He is set up for a free kill here if they don't spot him out. There is one player about to creep into his sight line, but if he's not watching for it, it could not go his way.
Rorik technically is getting all of these kills, by the way. Oh my goodness, down goes Skies to Benjamaster. The Dane now on the run. He'll pull out the CZ75. And a date with Rorik, who's heating up himself. There haven't been many aces here. Could we find one? No. Dan will take down Benjamaster. Rorik not credited with anything on that kill. It leaves Stompin' in a 1v3. VP looking like they're going to snap this streak of G2. 4 rounds in a row for the 2-time world champions. Technically once under that, twice under the G2 banner. Down goes Pasha to Stompin', Revolver out. And he's punished by Rorik with a 4K from one of the support-oriented players.
Didn't hear it, whether there was some information there that they didn't quite capitalize on, or whether it was just a gap that he was actually able to spot.
In its tracks, and now Nako will menacingly see Stompin' in this position. Wouldn't it be nice to have a gas canister at this point? He's going to get disoriented and followed up on. Pasha technically credited with the kill, though Nako did so much work there. Intel will be grabbed by Virtus.pro as we reach the final stretch of this 10th round. There's Doki now back in his familiar spot in gold, calling. Maybe they've got the defuse kit tumbling down. Maybe they'll play the long-range angles and just hope for direct gunfights. The Razor Blooms will buy some time. Benja out-dueling Dan. There we go. Long-range engagements with the DMRs. That will ultimately work out. VP will have to get the job done without their statistical best player. Now it's all up to Skies. As in the sight, there's Pasha. Traded out. Nako on the board too. G2 just as Doki, and he's slaughtered by Rorik. VP wins the round. And creeping over towards the rest of G2, bleeding out and will be retrieved by Ali Mao. So a good attempt by Virtus.pro, and that honestly could have been a backbreaker for G2.
Yeah, but they still got top floor control. I don't mind this at all from VP, especially not with Dan.
He just gambles again.
Yeah, he gets those frags. Shaiko caught off a little bit. 4 and 9 now potentially will be his final stat line if his team can't clutch up this 4v5. Long angles being held by Rourke out on the rappel. Benja, a good answer. That clears up the Ram. That's that vert pressure that will be taken off the board. A lot of the job likely already done by the Ram gadgets, but even still, watch out for this flank. They're aware of it, though. Really nice peek by Nako on the blitz. Sends Doki running for the hills.
They picked up Shaiko because they thought he would help from an offense standpoint. It really depends on what Ali Mao does. There you go. Shaiko had just taken over lowest rated player on G2. Ali Mao will take that one back. Benja with 2, and suddenly the round looks imminently more winnable for G2. They've just got to wait out the next 30 seconds. Not a lot of time for them to wait out, but there is a shield still on the board. Nako will drop. No real crossfire there. Stomp and slaughtering him, finding his second kill, and now it's the man, the myth, the legend, Rorik, who's able to capitalize here before. He has his hands full. 20 seconds to go, and I think he understands what's going to happen. Timeout called by VP. Stompin will seal the deal. 3 kills for the youngest player here at the tournament.
There are tools they can play around, but it's still going to be heavily favored for VP. Maybe not heavily, but I would give them the edge with this Capitao, with this Sophia, with this Thatcher.
The later that this goes, the more I like VP's chances. They clear Stompin out of this position. Arguably just about as successful as that blue hold was before. It was kind of the undoing for G2, their Achilles heel in this lineup, and now Doki is trapped inside of server, burning alive. They cook him into a position where he has to get out of there and has now trapped himself in the dirt tunnel, but they can just isolate him, Jesse. They don't even need to go for him. Let him languish in there. Down goes Benja. Nako will join. Doki now in the ground. Virtus.pro sinking their teeth into this G2 defense. Shaiko and Ali Mao, the last 2 standing, usually having Shaiko as one of the last 2 is confidence inspiring. But Shaiko's had a pretty rough map so far. They call upon their heroes when you need them most, and now Shaiko will need to clutch out in a 1v4. VP have him tracked. Dan gets the final kill, and Virtus.pro win the map. 1 map away. For the EML finals.
Azami Mira were the 2 operators banned with her in it, but Mira not going to be removed like before too far either. This could be a fast move if G2 are feeling it.
Yeah, and there we go. There's the vault out. Good read on that one. Down goes Doki. They're still outside of the building. They might struggle with that snake ban as we talked about. They will have to rely an awful lot on that Deimos.
Someone just ran over the defuse kit, but didn't pick it up. He's leaving it on the ground.
Benjamaster slaughters Dan, but there's 2 to answer from VP. Shaiko on the board far earlier than we saw on Bank. The 2 newest members of G2 will now work arm in arm to try to thwart 2 of the best players from the last map on VP, and Pasha, well, he doesn't miss. Now it's up to Benja on a single point of HP. Sky sends this one away, and VP will start off on Chalet with a victory.
This is about to go really crazy, and the Jompins begins.
And the Fenrir will give some intel as the Wamai gets away. Sky's blinded out. Next one in the line of sight is Pasha. Far back away. Ali
all by himself now on the shield. There's nobody up there in piano for him to fight with, but even still, this is dangerous.
And an ego peek by Dan. Outduels Benjamaster. Now the shield is gone. Ali Mao lived a little bit longer than we thought. Shaiko off the board too. These castle barricades, they've come back to haunt this G2 team. They were tough to deal with on Bank. Now they're proving to be quite an obstacle for G2 on Chalet. We've just reached the halfway point of the round, and 5 players left. Make that 4. Dogi with the LMG in hand, you don't see that every day, and it's dead players cycling through the cams to give information to their teammates. Rourke and Nako now just waiting out this G2 offense. Out goes the final Adreno Surge. Doki walks in. It's his 3rd, and he'll be in a showdown against Nako. Getting Diffuse Kit down, but Doki's got plenty of time. Doki's fully committed to this one, and he gets killed by Nako. Did you not hear the castle coming? VP start off by Dan. He actually missed the first radius and had to pick it back up again and go for a second attempt. Had he committed to that first one and nailed it, I actually think that wall would have remained. diffuse kit still has not gone down.
Yeah, of course, the bomb site 1 floor down below. They've got to get the wall open first. They want this control. They will find Dan here on the top floor. That's one of 2 roamers still existing up here. Leaves Skies in an awkward position. Now his teammate's gone down without a trade. What's he going to do? Calls Rorik up actually for a moment, but as the death mark comes through, he falls back to site as well.
So G2 desperate for information at this point in time. Nako far enough back that he will see these players coming. With the TCSG in hand, he can do some big damage. Out will go the Flames to isolate these players. Some area denial to push them into the arms of G2. Doki takes down Nako. Sky's in trouble. Rorik, the only one remaining. No, they're all gone. In the blink of an eye, G2 sweep.
Because they had a Thermite down below, they had a Capitao down below, they were each team had been playing, but more so to enable a different strategy from your own team through these next 3 rounds. Because of course, after this, there's no more reaction bans. Okay.
Oh.
Dan flips on a dime and dines Benja. That's a brutal game to lose.
It's pronounced Dane.
Okay.
Benja gone. That is a rough one. He's had a bit of a slow start. Alimao will trade Pasha out, though, as the Monty menacingly inside a trophy. And what a trophy now in a taking kitchen by force.
Yeah, usually you'll see the strat with like a buck or something, Parker, but they've gotten bottom floor control and can't do much with it. Because of that, Nako's position can't be forced out. He gets that pick on Alimao, finding a crossfire on the Monty, and this just got really awkward for G2 without their spearhead.
Doki and Shaiko side by side. Nako down from below. Doki still in this very favorable position. Shaiko's giving him the all clear to assess the situation. Retrieve it is now, there goes the Rotero drone. A scouting mission with just under a minute left in the round.
Stompin's gone over to big window, so he's not going to be near that kid at all. Instead, it's a swing from Rorik that gets hard punished. Nice trade by Skies, though, 2v2.
And Sky's still alive here in the bathroom, flattened by Shaiko. Stompin looking for the all clear. Dan, last one standing. We are seeing Stompin rotate on over. Dan will go for the run out. He suspects somebody's on big window, but he's giving himself away. And guess what? Shaiko will have a line of sight over towards that part of the map. They'll coalesce towards the back of the site. Shaiko versus Dan is a fight that we have seen time and time again, and it never disappoints. Wow. Shaiko will win it, as is often the case. Stompin was attempting to get Diffuse Kit down, but no objective play.
Out of rush strategy, so I'm really curious to see how Doki wants to use this operator.
Second time on this bomb site that Doki has employed this op. Benja will take care of Dan. That's, I guess, some words from the previous round. Down goes Stompin to Pasha. I don't know where the Dokkaebi was, and I don't know how much utility that Korean operator. Also towards the main door, expecting a swing from the smoke. Rorik takes a gamble. It does not pay off. He ultimately loses a lot of his HP in the process, but it allows Alimao to take up space. Doki now covering from above. Down goes Rorik. It's a sweep on through the site, but Skies is there. Nako dies. G2 with the advantage. Skies coming back to the site, gets one. That's all he can muster. Pasha in a 1v3. Doki has his line of sight. He gets gunned down. No 10 kills for the Scotsman, as it's Pasha now against a Monty and Benja. Alimao will just sit and observe the work he did with the case. Benja has coverage from above. Will he take the fight upstairs? That seems to be the goal. He cannot take the Monty 1v1 because Benja will just be sitting and waiting. But Pasha's indecision, Jesse, might just kill him. Shield break makes this a lot easier of a fight, but you know Alimao is very comfortable on this roll, just wasting time, shaking his head no. As Pasha tries as he might, Benja doesn't even need to get into harm's way because guess what? You're out of time on the side of VP. Finally, Benja gets the kill. Pasha goes down, and it's another round for G2. They take the lead.
And the lasers coming through from Pasha as well. It's mission impossible on the top floor of Chalet.
You see them rappelling down amidst it to try and grab the big crown jewel. Doki was first death on round number 1 and will exit the first half. Strategy as VP gets to workshop this round, so too did G2. They get to speak to their coach as well. Obviously, the game does not pay off. Shaiko dies at the hands of Rorik, and VP's full court press across this entire map so far working out. Stompin, just like Alimao on bank, will not exit the first half fragless as he gets one pick on the window. And G2's going to need to amass a couple more because it's VP with the lead. Issuing a correction, Rorik, trapped on stairs, tries to fight his way to that spot, dies to Benja, and VP giving up some costly errors here, and now they've lost the numbers advantage entirely.
Things are falling apart for VP.
The one thing that will work in VP's favor is information. They have a bulletproof camera inside a kitchen. It'll be able to get a good look at that trophy portion of the map. Dan guns down Alimao. Benja Master just slipped through the fingers of Nako as well. So that could have been 2 quick kills for VP to send us to a 3-3 second half, but that won't come to pass. Stompin finds his third. Jesse, you said it, he's never gone negative in a matchup, and he's now 3-3 with plenty more time to go. Nako worried about the cross. Benja Master, good coverage, and that's a huge round for G2 as they...
the longest current coach still in under one organization. Was the coach of FaZe Clan back when they won the major in Sweden.
Underwatch, I guess that's payback for his 3K in the previous round to go from 0-3 to 3-3. Dan gunning down Shaiko. Shaiko competing with Alimao right now as the lowest rated player on G2. It's been a bad game for the Frenchman. Benja will join him as well, and now there's a lineup over on the stairs. Doki swamping Rorik. He had Stomp it in tow. Doki breaking double digits. The old floors, they can kill you through the walls. We said the same about VP just a couple rounds ago. It might look like a bit of restlessness, but you have to take these engagements, especially when there's a shield on the board and you're down in numbers. And Doki understands the mission. He didn't have much to gamble on. He does gamble. It ultimately does not pay off. Alimao and Stompin in a 2v4. This is grim for G2, but Alimao blows up Pasha with a Nitro Cell, has a golden opportunity to do some damage to the Blitz as well. Everybody on VP have taken their lumps. This is perfect for the guns in the hands of Alimao and Stompin. They need to work together effectively. Diffuse kit going down. Nako protected for the moment. Sky's watching to ensure he stays alive. Alimao in pursuit now. Will look for a swing. He's got the Blitz doing more damage, but he can't capitalize. Stompin dies because of it. Alimao trapped in the corner, and they'll play him like the piano he sat on. VP. The big thing, obviously, is the lack of mute. Mute is the single greatest counter to these intel ops. It's not present on the side of G2. Alimao dies early-ish. A minute to go in the round. VP will strike first. That's Dan starting to heat up. And VP have now a nice, cool minute to work with this bomb site.
Yeah, G2 really didn't want to give up that first frag, but there it goes. Finally, a mistake gets made, and Virtus.pro will punish. Time is ticking low, though, and you've still got good utility on the side of G2. 2 Nitro Cells, 1 from Benja, 1 from Stompin. The Blitz looking to jump over, but shoots the cam first. They've got good player positions, and the Nitro answers, though.
And look at the spectating. Dear God, I couldn't imagine being one of our observers at the moment because G2 is doing laps around the map. Nako dies to the Nitro Cell, and that was the re-aggress up blue stairs. Limited time now for VP to work with, and they've lost one of their best tools, which was that shield. They've got a good idea about the Kaida Benjamaster inside a back bar, but they've got to cut through a bunch of players in the process. They'll do some serious damage through the wall. Dan buying himself some time and concealment from that fire extinguisher. The smoke doing wonders to keep Doki at bay. Dan wins the duel, slaughtered by a trade. There was a hail of bullets there as Shaiko holds off the bomb site. Everybody dying, and it's all up to Benjamaster to clutch out. Yorick and Benja in a 1v1, and the Dane will win it. G2. They'd have to respond with what? Either pocket EMPs, which will mean changing different operators, or going for a full clear, potentially underneath the bomb site. There's lots of options here for G2, and frankly, it's good that they're in this comfortable position because they have the availability to pick who they want to ban. It doesn't just have to be a shield, though I think Blitz is probably going to be the choice, to your credit. Benja taking care of Skies, and there's the Blitz we just talked about. Nako marching in, dealing with the Kaid. This is reasons why I think the Blitz might not be banned, Jesse. He has really not been the most successful on that role the last 2 rounds. He's got control of Diffuse Kit inside of Dining Room. Benja almost breaking double digits. Shaiko very close as well. Don't count out VP. Maybe count out VP. They're just down to Rorik now. It's G2, as I said that. Got a whole bevy of kills. Doki and Rorik now in a 1v1. Rorik holds the Diffuse Kit. Doki's got control from above, but Rorik doesn't seem to know where he is. Doki gets the read. He'll rotate over around towards the hatch, worried about Rorik falling off. Surely Doki saw him, right? Rorik attempting the fake. He'll go back on, now off. Doki can play time. He hears the sound call. Absolutely. Forcing Rorik off of this position. Rorik already had a clutch over on Bank. Can he get the job done against Doki? Looks like he's going to stick this one. Falling off at the last second. Doki wins it. My goodness, sometimes it is that close, and G2 moves. Vault in, potentially. There it goes. Candelas go off. They've ultimately blinded themselves. Adrenal Surge 2. Doki taking damage. Benja taking damage. VP absolutely dominating, but hold on. It's the S's from G2. Stompin and Shaiko working together to completely throw VP off of their momentum. The groove is gone, and it's a 3v3. That first minute of action so good. Down goes Alimao. The advantage swings back in favor of Virtus.pro. Shaiko and Stompin will need to collect every kill in the round. Make that just Stompin at this point. Dan down by the Razor Bloom. Stompin working away, but it's a nice kill from Nako as they actually trade. Only one player ultimately survived. I will say you were right. I know that that physically hurts me to say, but it is the truth. You cast or cursed him, Jesse.
All right,
Doki goes for a swing. There goes Nako, and with it, VP now need to hope that the round hasn't gone into the unreachable position. Rorik doing some damage, Doki taking even more. He's up to a dozen kills. A deceptive game for Doki. Rorik still posted up in this position. We'll get Ali Mao. Why are you swinging that spot? They might be feeling themselves on the side of G2, and you do have some extra runway to land this thing, but why give your opponent any breathing room here? Down goes Pasha to a Nitro Cell from Ben. Dan holding that defuse kit, waiting for G2 to swarm him. Doki gets yet another. Rorik dies. Nade just rolls away. Doki still surviving. Dan taking damage from the Razor Bloom. Stompin and Doki will now compete for this kill. An excellent position for G2. They ultimately choked the lead against Twisted Minds in that fateful third map yesterday. They are trying to prevent that here, but now 2 quick kills from VP with still plenty of time has made this way more winnable for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, I mean, both Alamau and Stompin kind of died trying to protect Doki in the midst of that. I don't know that he needed the help. Did so much work on his own, but because so many players tried to regress onto that side of the map, Parker, it's now just a 2v2.
I would be very comfortable with these 2 players still riding it out for G2. Benjamaster and Shaiko hoping to make VP look a little silly. They've managed to put it just in the hands of Skies. Defuse kit, he'll drop towards lobby. G2 can just watch these doorways and there will be no hope for Virtus.pro, especially since Skies has given his position away. The Ying marching in, Shaiko the final kill, and we will go to a third map. You're never in danger until you lose at home, and both of these teams win their maps.
On the attack. It's close for both. The Azami ban makes a lot of East stairs pressure, but that's fallen out of favor a bit over the last couple of months. It'll be
there goes some of the floor as well, as now goes a flash. Stompin tucked into this corner. And
what?
No right to win that duel. Nako will want that one back. And Jesse, that's 40 seconds left, just under that at this point in time. Here come the gadgetry from VP to isolate these players. Beautiful shot on the Stompin, tucked in behind some debris on that banana portion of the map. And now push up towards the mirror window. Once you get security, that's the problem with that little rotate, right? You've got so much control over Fountain. Shaiko gets pounced upon. Virtus.pro have turned this one around. They suffered the first casualty, but here comes G2 off to the races. Benjamaster, sensational play, reducing just VP to Dan, and Doki will send round spot, and if he's enabled, here it is. If he's enabled by his teammates, he can do some serious damage, and they've called in the cavalry, but Shaiko missing all of his shots against Pasha, but one stop and trades him out, and the shield will now breathe down his neck as Nako will want back that previous round. Down goes Stompin to Dan. Really good coordination here by VP, and they have the numbers advantage with a little bit over a minute to go.
Yeah, the clear's been perfect, and the intel continues to flow. They've got great pings coming through in Alamau, but it doesn't save them. Great shot from the captain of G2. Equals the numbers at 3.
I'm not even on any of these teams, and I'm angered by the way that Nako's died 2 rounds in a row. Rorik will give the lead back to VP in numbers. Ali Mao and Doki yet to die through that first round. I don't know if they're both going to make it at this point in time. Ali Mao in the afterlife now. Doki 2-0. Top player on Chalet, a key part of why we are here at Border. But it's hard to win a 1v3 on this map. You are in such close proximity to the attackers at all times.
He just shot. That gives the game away, Parker. He's not on site, so it's free for Dan. Holds the angle and perfectly catches the one player left alive on G2 to equalize this.
He'll escape over towards security. He knows there's one over by the 90 position, looking through the wall. 2, technically, but Carl still frags so well. Benjamaster technically credited with that kill. That's the mirror getting in on the action. Nako takes down Ali Mao, but look at the time management. G2 in a numbers disadvantage, but with only 40 seconds left on the clock, this is more winnable for G2 than you'd think.
Yeah, but they've still got some good space to try to work things from, Parker. They know Doki's position now just inside events. If they can find one of these 2 isolated players, that can make all the difference. Thorn traps charge out, 30 seconds to make this execute happen.
Nako will drop on in. The Blitz will be under watch. Pasha shreds Benjamaster. This is a rough spot for Doki. He's on a tiny portion of HP. There's no way VP was losing that. It looked good for about 20 seconds.
On the defense. I'm not saying I want them to rein it back in, but they've got to find some kind of on these players out on the balcony to try to find these picks, whether it's the Grim, whether it's some other big fragging operators coming through like the Blackbeard. They've got to be able to get these players out.
Oh, Skies punished by Benja. We talked about what the mute ban want to call Blackbeard and Intel Op, which I wouldn't, or the Twitch drones as well from Dan. But this might be just a dry execute from VP at this point in time. The Dane just continues to shoot away. Rorik is gone. That's another from Benja. VP on the board. G2 seemingly cannot get more than 2 kills without an answer back. Down goes Dan at the hands of Ali Mao. This is a great spot, and all these long-range guns, 2 from a DMR, 2 from the TCSG, and Nako will find himself in a 1v4, taken care of by Shaiko. G2 will answer back and tie up the map.
Again with the Azami just to block off some of these angles, but spanned out, so he's over to his classic Legion. It's Benja. TCSG continues to ring out another pick from him on that gun.
And Nako has been on an island a lot of times, Jesse, and not like the good ones sipping margaritas. I'm talking, he's stranded. It's Castaway. Down goes Pasha at the hands of Stoppin, once again playing so smartly in this position. Scorpion in hand, over by security, death taxes, and, well, you know exactly what I just said. Nitro Cell goes in, masterfully timed by Benjamaster. Down goes Rorik. Dan and Skies will look and survey the destruction of their team as barely a point of damage has been done to G2. In fact, I don't think a single bullet has landed from VP. I think that damage from Ali Mao is just simply Oryx crashing through a bunch of walls like the Kool-Aid Man. Down goes Dan at the hands of Shaiko, and now it's all up to Skies. F2 cannot compete. That floater position of Shaiko coming in handy. Flawlessly won by Floor. And G2 at roughly around the same time as before have now decided to head towards that main floor.
Rorik want to lurk up those stairs, but he gets traded right back by Stompin' Parker. That's going to be one he wants back, unfortunately. His position just known at the end, and it's a good time
that he has been alive. That is his office right now. He's doing big business deals, and business is pretty good at the moment. Benjamaster takes out Pasha. Benja involved in almost every single round in the kill feed. That is terrific again for the Dane, who's been quiet through much of the day. G2 does not often rely on him, but they are relying on him heavily on border, and he is not letting them down. There goes Nako to stop, and Doki on the board, and G2 gives us a mercy killing for the final round of the first half.
Final map versus Twisted Minds on Cafe, so interesting if that does continue.
Team qualifying for Friday. Obviously, Twisted Minds did so against G2.
And what is kind of the strategy going to come out from VP? It's going to be this Castle Zatronka setup.
Ooh.
A nade kill in 2026. All right, didn't have that
Simple
one.
Geometry, Jesse.
Lake City, so you're hoping to see him bounce back, but it won't be in round 7. Now Dan in a bit of a rat spot. Shaiko pressuring through offices. Lots of different dimensions to this push, but it's all going G2.
And G2's taking quite a bit of damage here, so they've traded out HP consistently to do this to Virtus.pro. What you don't want as VP is to lose your first round in a hurry. You have to show some fight. I know they've got that dog in them, but right now it looks like it's maybe still a bit of a puppy. Got to grow up a little bit. Pasha and Rorik, the only two still standing. There goes Shaiko. Benjamaster and Ali Mao also very low. Just as we said so quickly, Jesse, that they have time to course correct. And they have called a swap up now as they will take out on vents. Down goes Rorik. Pasha swinging over. They'll see him from the window. Target acquired. Oh my, there goes Ali Mao, but Doki will find the frag as the defuse kit was getting planted. Getting smothered at the moment. This is a rat play. How do they read that?
Wow.
Pasha on the ground, and Stompin will be the snake charmer as he gets taken care of. Rorik finished off inside of security by Stompin again. He saw that he went negative in the previous map, and he said, no more. G2 now looking at 3 players to get rid of, and they'll sit on series point if they do so.
The teenager is done with these games. Doki will get one as well. 5-2 now. Virtus.pro crumbling on all fronts. Nako 1-6. Skies 2. They're just desperate for frags. They get one, but the round is done. G2 match and series point.
These attacks. Dan hoping to catch Shaiko at that window as Doki is in, gets Nako. Nako has had a disappointing third map. They rely on him to do well. Dan will get Shaiko. As there's the Scorpion inside of security, moved up to the break room door. Rorik was hoping to give VP a leg up over G2, but it slips through his fingers. They might get one under the Wamai, and they will. Dan taken out by Stompin. There goes Doki. Neither of these teams able to shake each other. That is good for VP.
Another one back. Rorik is moving some life over towards VP. They've got a man advantage for the first time in this half, and that could make all the difference. Alamo on the shield doesn't really have the opportunity to bring the gun out either, so it'll be just Benjamaster, the Danish terror here for G2, returning to his old team, trying to close things out against Virtus.pro. He'll take his time, get back up with his captain, make sure that he can play around Alamo. You don't want to take fights, but hey, if you're taking shots like that, maybe you do.
Team captain and IGL will now need to clutch out in a 1v2. This will be a tough go of it. As you pointed out, Stompin and Ali Mao entered this series as the 2 highest rated players with identical stats across the board. That is something we don't see all that often. Alimao has struggled to go positive in most of his events, but I mean, struggle might not even be the right word here because, again, his deployment does not need him to go positive. Usually IGLs tend to be at the very bottom of the scoreboard. Spiker's never gotten that memo, but pretty much every other IGL has. The feeling that Alimao might just be dragging this one out as he's now spotted inside of Archives. And yeah, there we go. Two separate players all hunting for that final kill. Pasha will get it. VP stays.
Both been around 2 or 3 kills apiece. It's been really the veterans of
For the storm. The calm is here. Who will end up in the eye of the hurricane? Skies taken out by Stomp, and that's another opening pick for G2 so far. These opening picks, all but the previous round, have determined who ultimately wins. VP hoping that the trend line from the previous round will hold, but it's not looking good. Down goes Dan.
Gotta get aggressive.
Well, I think Rorik's figured that one out. Shaiko has him pinned down. It allows Stompin to post up towards the window. There goes Pasha, there goes Rorik. G2's already had a flawless round in this map. Will they do it again? It's all up to Nako as he gets away for the time being. G2 will clinch their spot, and a berth on the main stage is theirs. Let the world know G2 does not lose to 2 EML teams.
G2 are headed to the main stage here in Salt Lake City. Not too much of a surprise to anyone here, but maybe took them one game longer than you would have liked. Doki, start with your performance today. I mean, you popped off top fragging on 2 maps. Did the loss to Twisted Minds power you up today? I mean, what was going on? Was it the Top Golf last night?
It was a Top Golf last night. I was just about to say we all went Top Golf and and yeah, we the 3 played really good together as a team. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It was just really like after Bank was out of the way, it was just easy going. So yeah, it was fun.
Well, talk to me about how you guys regrouped and got those vibes back. VP take it off to an early lead in the second map. What did you guys change to get back into gear?
I mean, we knew Bank was going to be a little bit tricky, and the other maps definitely were more in our favor. But Bank's historically one of our best maps, so we were pretty confident going into Bank. But the problem is, like, they just played very good, and the step-by-step defenses and our attacks went up to par to counter them. But we tried to claw back. I think it was a good game, 7-5. So yeah, I think a couple of rounds went differently. We could have been looking at a 2-0 there.
And this means we'll see them on the main